Aion 2. Aion 2 is Microsoft's long-awaited follow-up to their legendary MMORPG that blew up the scene, especially in Korea, thanks to its wings, gorgeous world, and epic PvP. It was announced way back in 2018 as a mobile-only project, but NCSoft pivoted hard. Now it's a full cross-platform MMORPG for PC and mobile with crossplay. Story-wise, it's a prequel set 900 years before the original, so fans will catch familiar vibes in a fresh setting. The iconic wing-based gameplay? Still here, but now flying's even more central to combat and exploration. Coolest twist. No rigid class system. Any character can use any gear, opening up insane build freedom. They're building it on Unreal Engine 5, so expect next-gen visuals, and with a team of around 300 people, this is no small project. The worlds promise to be richer and more detailed than the original, following a free-to-play model with a cash shop and battle pass. Only catch? We're still waiting. No closed tests or alphas yet, but the game's not dead. On May 29th, super soon, devs are dropping a big livestream with more details. Ashfall. Ashfall, a post-apocalyptic MMO shooter RPG that got announced back in 2022. What makes it stand out? For starters, it looks like an online Fallout. The game's set in a future where AI triggered a nuclear war, wiping out civilization. Survivors crawl out of the ruins to rebuild, but they're up against mutated insects, rogue robots, giant worms, and, yeah, dinosaurs. Okay, maybe not exactly like Fallout, pretty sure Fallout never had dinos. The devs promise a massive open world stitched together from diverse zones, packed with PvE content. Think less magic and swords, more guns and tactics, positioning, cover, and smart maneuvering in fights. The progression system straight out of Fallout 4, kill enemies, earn skill points, and dump them into a perk tree to customize your playstyle. Right now, the focus is on the Chinese market, where MMOs thrive, but there's hope it'll go global. Visually, it's legit impressive. Chrono Odyssey. Chrono Odyssey is top tier on my hype list. Revealed in December 2020, it grabbed attention instantly with its Unreal Engine 5 graphics and a wild sci-fi/fantasy mashup setting. You play as part of a Drake, an elite squad fighting colossal gods in the world of Cetera. Originally planned for PC, consoles, and mobile, it's now PC first, and that's a good thing. The big hook? Time manipulation. Freeze time, rewind actions, or peek into the past to solve puzzles. If executed well, this could be game-changing. Cetera's a seamless open world with dynamic weather, seasons, and events that reshape the environment. Combat's action-heavy, a la Black Desert Online, no tap targeting here. 6 launch classes: Paladin, Swordsman, Berserker, Assassin, Ranger, and Sorceress, each with 2 weapon sets for flexibility. Time mechanics spice things up, like rewinding an enemy's bullet mid-air or freezing them in place. It's billed as a theme park MMO, story quests, PvE raids, and large-scale PvP, think realm versus realm. Exploration's a major focus, with varied zones begging to be uncovered. Bellatores. Let's talk about Bellatores, an upcoming MMORPG from South Korean studio NeoWiz, known for mobile games like Dragon Chronicles and Dual Summoners. They're stepping into the big leagues with this PC project. First announced in 2020 under the codename Project N1, it got its official title, Bellatores, in 2022. Built on Unreal Engine 5, the visuals are predictably stunning, though let's be real, everything's on UE5 these days. Gameplay-wise, it's a mix of survival, adventure, and large-scale PvP in a seamless open world with no loading screens. Think Albion Online meets New World, hunting, resource gathering, crafting, and player-driven economies. No rigid classes here, you customize your build to become a warrior, mage, or whatever you like. The big focus? Faction warfare. At character creation, you pick one of 5 noble houses, like Horde vs Alliance, but with 3 extra sides. Sieges are medieval as hell, with dynamic battles where quick decisions turn the tide. There's PvE too, field raids, world bosses, but the heart of the game is player conflict and politics. It's free to play, but development's been slow, delays, radio silence, the usual. Still, a 2023 showcase and their active Telegram channel hint it's alive. Current target? 2026, fingers crossed it doesn't become vaporware. Dune Awakening. Now, Dune Awakening is the opposite, it's already in testing, with players running around Arrakis as we speak. This open-world survival MMO, from Conan Exile's devs Funcom, is the first big game set in Frank Herbert's Dune universe. You'll survive the desert, fight over spice, and pick sides in the wars between House Atreides, Harkonnens, and others. It's not a traditional MMORPG, more of a sandbox with survival mechanics, though it has RPG elements, auction houses, NPC quests. Gameplay revolves around brutal survival, start with nothing, scavenge resources, build a base, and craft gear to avoid dying of thirst or sandworms. Weather is your enemy, sandstorms and heat force you to plan every move. Combat borrows from MMOs, with archetypes like Mentats or Bene Gesserit sisters and skill trees for customization. Play solo or team up, groups of 4 or guilds of 30. PvP is optional, safe hubs exist, but the deep desert is a free-for-all for territory/resource wars. Coolest feature. Ornithopter flights between servers, making the world feel connected. One catch, it's not F2P, buy to play. Launch? June 10th. Mark your calendars. Ashes of Creation. Now, let's talk about Ashes of Creation, a long-awaited fantasy MMORPG that's been in development since its 2016 Kickstarter, which raised $3.2 million. Set in the massive world of Vera, this game's standout feature is its node system, a dynamic world where player actions shape the environment. Think of nodes as special zones that evolve from tiny villages into sprawling metropolises based on player activity. This affects everything, economies, quests, even NPC behavior. If one town thrives, another might vanish if players ignore it. Combat is a hybrid system, swap between action combat, like New World, and tap targeting, classic WoW style. There are 8 base archetypes at launch: Warrior, Mage, Cleric, Ranger, Tank, Rogue, Summoner, and Bard, which combine into 64 possible subclasses. Other highlights? Open-world PvP, with a karma system to punish griefers. Massive castle sieges, naval battles, and 40-man raids, hello, WoW vibes. Caravans, crafting, and world bosses tied to node progression. Right now, Alpha 2 is running, started October 2023, with a second phase added in January 2024, new dungeon, spy class, naval combat. Phase 3, with 24/7 servers, was delayed from May 1st to August 4th, 2024 for polish. Fingers crossed for a smooth ride. ArcheAge Chronicles. Next up, ArcheAge Chronicles, formerly ArcheAge 2. Announced in 2020 as a sequel to the cult sandbox MMO, it rebranded in September 2024 with a twist. Devs now call it an online action RPG, those store pages still say MMORPG. Set in Aurora, 50 years after the original, the world is twice as big and runs on Unreal Engine 5, trailers show lush landscapes, ancient ruins, and combat that oddly reminds me of Horizon Forbidden West. Gameplay changes. Action combat, like Black Desert Online or Blue Protocol, with combos, dodges, and flashy moves, no more tap targeting. PvE focus, story-driven quests, world bosses, and 10+ player raids. PvP Lite, inspired by Guild Wars 2, caravan battles, guild wars, but less hardcore than original ArcheAge. Sandbox Lite, housing, farming, trading, and life skills, but more solo/co-op friendly. The catch? It's buy to play. Closed beta hits mid-2025, with early tests in June-July, and full release is slated for 2026. A bit divisive for ArcheAge veterans, but promising for newcomers. Lineage 2 on Unreal Engine 4. You won't believe this, some devs actually took the old-school Lineage 2, slapped it onto Unreal Engine 4, and gave it a modern makeover. That's right, the same grind-heavy, AFK-friendly, mass PvP siege gameplay you remember, but now it looks and runs like a 2025 game. What's new? Visual overhaul, still classic L2, but prettier, way prettier. Optimization fixes, the original client ran on one CPU core and barely used your GPU. Now. Smooth FPS even in 1500 player Velocus fights. QoL tweaks, slightly modernized controls/UI to avoid feeling too archaic. The pre-alpha test starts June 20th, worth checking out just to see if the nostalgia hits right. Could be a banger for hardcore fans. The Starlight. Now, here's something relatively fresh, the Starlight, a new MMORPG from a Chinese developer, announced early last year. It's being built exclusively for PC on Unreal Engine 5, which already suggests a high level of polish and, no mobile game vibes. The game takes place in a fantasy world called Illyria. You play as a Starstrider, basically, a traveler who hops between worlds through portals to restore the balance between light and darkness. The gameplay promises a mix of classic MMORPG mechanics and modern action RPG combat. Fights are fast-paced, with an emphasis on combos, dodging, and role-specific abilities. At launch, there'll be 4 archetypes. Lightbringer, melee fighter. Stellar Mage, self-explanatory. Voidstrider, a roguelike agile class. Aether Warden, your healer/support. Each role can be customized through a skill tree inspired by Path of Exile, offering tons of build options. The world of Illyria is open, with dynamic events, like attacks by cosmic creatures or meteor showers that reshape the terrain. There's also PvE content, dungeons, raids, world bosses, and PvP, arenas, guild battles for portal control. Other features include crafting, trading, camp building, and even piloting small star vessels for exploration. It's supposed to be free to play, but that's not confirmed yet. The game's gaining traction in China, but a global release is still up in the air. A Chinese alpha test is coming this summer, but I wouldn't even guess when the full launch might happen. Still, looks promising. World of Jade Dynasty. World of Jade Dynasty, a theme park MMORPG from Chinese studio Perfect World Games. Announced in 2022 as a spiritual successor to Jade Dynasty, a popular but aging game from 2007. Set in a wuxia-style fantasy world where martial arts, magic, and flying on swords are the norm, the game launched in China last December for PC and recouped its €48 million budget within a month, pretty wild success. It runs on Unreal Engine 5.5, making it one of the best-looking MMOs out there. Seriously, the landscapes, animations, and character models are stunning. So far, it's only out in China, but new servers for players outside Asia opened in May 2025. Fans even made an unofficial English patch to bypass the language barrier. No global version has been announced yet, but given its success, we might see one in 2026. Gameplay-wise, it's classic theme park MMO, focused on story, quests, and social features. Combat is action-based with fluid combos and aerial fights, typical for wuxia games like Swords of Legends Online. You explore a huge open world on foot, mounts, or even by flying, with dynamic weather and day/night cycles adding to the immersion. Content includes fully voiced story quests, in Chinese, obviously, dungeons, world bosses, solo or group, PvP arenas, and guild wars. Plus, multiple character classes. Stylistically, it's similar to Blade and Soul but smoother and more refined. Bitcraft. Bitcraft is a sandbox MMORPG with survival and crafting elements, developed by indie studio Clockwork Labs, based in San Francisco. Announced in 2021, it's been turning heads with its cozy, Zelda-like art style and the promise of total freedom in a massive, shared world. The game takes place in a single, procedurally generated world where all players coexist, no separate servers, which is rare for MMOs. You can build cities, dig through mountains, redirect rivers, and even create entire civilizations from scratch. Bitcraft hits PC Early Access on June 20th this year. The full release will be free to play, but for now, Early Access costs around $30. The devs built their own engine, Space Team DB, to handle this complex, editable world. Gameplay is a true sandbox, you choose your path, farmer, hunter, trader, or empire builder. Progression isn't combat-focused, it's tied to skills and civilization growth. There are 12 professions, each with 10 levels, specializing in crafting, trade, or survival. PvE was criticized in alpha tests for being dull, but the devs promised to improve monsters and add mini-dungeons by early access. PvP exists but is more about prestige. Players compete for territory control via a faction system, placing watchtowers and vying for status, not loot. The coolest part? The world is fully editable. Terraform landscapes, build settlements, and shape a player-driven economy. Cooperation is key, solo survival is tough, and the game encourages teamwork. A very unconventional but intriguing project. Past Fate. Past Fate sounds like a meme, but the concept isn't half bad. This sandbox MMORPG from a Finnish studio was announced in 2019 and crowdfunded a modest $35,000 on Kickstarter. Set in the medieval fantasy world of Era, players can be anything: knight, pirate, farmer, or even a necromancer. The game's in development for PC, available on Steam, but remains in closed alpha. It uses Unreal Engine 4, and while the graphics aren't AAA tier, the landscapes are still charming. Key features: a seamless open world, no instancing, where players shape everything: economy, politics, and wars. Action combat with active blocking/striking, similar to New World but more realism focused. 3 starting classes: warrior, mage, archer, each with unique skills like necromancy or spirit summoning. Open world PvP with a karma system to curb griefing. PvE includes quests, dungeons, and world bosses. Notable mechanics: naval warfare and player-driven trade. Build ships, hire crews, raid merchant vessels, or just focus on crafting and economy. Last year's alpha added treasure chests and dynamic events to liven up the world. Testing's been ongoing since 2022, and early access has been delayed multiple times. Maybe this year? No one knows. Project Q. An upcoming MMORPG from Lang, working title, Project Q. No official name yet, but it's already generating some hype. Announced in October 2022, this AAA MMO's first details only surfaced in 2023. Publisher Kakao Games, who worked with Lang on Odin, Valhalla Rising, is handling it. The setting? Another Norse mythology-inspired fantasy world, but with a fresh IP, no ties to Odin. Built on Unreal Engine 5, it looks promising, but gameplay details are scarce. What we know: classic MMORPG structure with PvE and PvP focus. Dynamic combat, similar to Odin, leaning into action and combos over tap targeting. Flexible class customization for unique builds. That's it for now. Could be solid, stay tuned for updates. Dark Continent. Dark Continent proves that even solo devs can tackle an MMO, which is pretty wild. This is an action MMORPG developed by a solo creator under the name Darkest Night Games, and you can tell they've poured their soul into it. Announced in 2023, it grabbed attention immediately with its promise of hardcore gameplay, no hand-holding, no pay-to-win. Set in a grimdark fantasy world full of monsters, ancient ruins, and secrets, the game is PC only and already up for wishlisting on Steam. No release date yet, but expected around 2026. Unreal Engine 5 powers some seriously impressive visuals for an indie project, moody forests, detailed enemies, and dynamic effects. The big sell? Pure skill-based combat. No auto-targeting, no tap spamming, just manual aiming, attack combos, and using the environment to survive. Think Souls-like meets MMO. Your reflexes and tactics actually matter. Features. Class flexibility, no rigid roles, mix and match to create unique builds. Open world, climb mountains, dive into caves, and uncover hidden treasures. PvE content, quests, dungeons, and epic bosses. Optional PvP, arenas, and, maybe, territory battles. Survival light, crafting and resource management, but not overly punishing. For players tired of casual MMOs, this could be the challenge. Fingers crossed for that 2026 release. Blue Protocol, Star Resonance. Remember Blue Protocol? That hyped anime MMORPG that flopped hard and got cancelled? Well, say hello to its Phoenix from the Ashes reboot, Blue Protocol, Star Resonance. Originally announced in 2019 by Bandai Namco, the JP version launched in 2023 but died fast due to low popularity and financial woes. The planned Western release, published by Amazon Games, was axed entirely. Star Resonance isn't just a spin-off, it's a full reimagining with new characters and story. Overhauled gameplay, still anime style, now on Unreal Engine 5. A hybrid combat system, action and tap targeting for balance. Open world exploration with parkour, run, jump, glide. Improvements over the original. More classes and a revamped talent system. Dungeons with no entry limits, fixing a major OG complaint. PvE raids, world bosses, and competitive PvP, arenas/guild wars. It's got that Genshin-esque vibe but with classic MMO soul. Closed tests are running now, let's hope it actually makes it to launch this time. That's it for today. Hope you found something cool here. If you did, smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Catch you next time.